With financial freedom, you always have enough money coming in, even if you don't work full-time. You'll need things that bring in enough money for you to cover your living costs. But what assets can give us both cash flow to pay our bills and insurance against inflation and market downturns? Today's video is about 5 things that will help you quit your job. Please like the video and follow for more great videos like this one. Allow us to begin. Number 1. Dividend stocks. One option to generate consistent income without having to put in any effort is to purchase shares of stock in reputable corporations. Dividends, which are similar to cash payouts, are a method by which these businesses distribute a portion of their wealth to their shareholders. Dividend yield is a term that refers to the amount of money that has been distributed by various corporations in the form of dividends. In comparison, ExxonMobil has a dividend yield that is greater than 3%, while Apple has a dividend yield that is less than 1%. According to the stock price, it is a percentage. For example, if you hold $100 worth of stock and the company has a dividend yield of 3%, you would receive $3 annually for each share that you own. To reiterate, dividend yield is simply one of the many factors to take into consideration when purchasing a stock. Investing in businesses that are currently doing well financially and are anticipated to continue doing well in the future is another important thing to work toward. If you do not have a significant amount of capital to invest, incorporating dividends into your regular income flow must be a long-term strategy. Let's imagine, for instance, that your investment portfolio has an average dividend yield of around 3%. You would need a portfolio worth $400,000 in order to receive dividends of $1,000 every month. Investing in dividends is intended to be a long-term strategy for the majority of people. In order to grow their investment over time and eventually start producing a considerable amount of money on a consistent basis, many investors make use of compound interest and reinvest their dividends. Due to the fact that this kind of income is relatively passive and is taxed at a lower rate than ordinary income, this plan is a terrific addition to your cash flow, despite the fact that it is a long-term plan. Number 2. Cash flowing real estate. People feel that investing in real estate is among the most successful ways to build riches for a variety of pretty valid reasons. First of all, the value of real estate usually rises yearly. Back in the early 1990s, an ordinary American house would have cost about $97,000. The median value of a house on the market of today exceeds $400,000. Over 30 years, the value of the market has risen more than 3 times. Second, one can have this kind of goods even if they are not able to afford it. Let us say, for instance, that we pay $200,000 for a house. We borrow $160,000 at a 2.5% rate over 30 years from a down payment of $40,000. Our monthly running expenses come to $830. This covers our mortgage, interest, insurance, and taxes. Consequently, we can obtain a $200,000 asset with a sum of $40,000, or in many cases less. Still, let's say the monthly rent for this house comes at $1,200. After we paid the rent and all of the bills, there would be $370 left every month. For us, this would yearly yield a profit of $4,440. One of the several benefits of real estate is that your asset is being paid off by another person, since it helps you to build equity on your current house. Month after month, you are getting positive cash flow. Year after year, the value of your property is rising. Furthermore, noteworthy are financial strategies one might use to boost their riches using real estate. Some investors use loans against the value of their acquired even more real estate in order to acquire still more. This helps them to more rapidly raise the value of their investments. Imagine, for example, that your previously valued $200,000 home is worth $250,000, having grown in value over time. You decide to refinance this house and extract $50,000 in cash and process. You then set aside that $50,000 for the purchase of another house totaling $200,000 overall. Your $40,000 investment so helps you to buy real estate valued $450,000. Your two properties now bring in money every month, hence, your cash flow is twice as strong as it was earlier. Number 3. Bonds. Bonds are not considered to be excellent investments in today's market because they do not provide satisfactory yields and will not even keep pace with inflation in some cases. Bonds, on the other hand, can be utilized as a layer of protection against market downturns, particularly when someone is in retirement or is getting close to retirement thanks to certain tactics. In the event that Warren Buffett, a well-known investor, passed away before his wife, he would instruct his manager to place his wife's money in a portfolio that was quite particular but not overly complicated. Buffett gave the instruction that simply index funds, such as the S&P 500, should hold 90% of the money, while bonds should hold 10% of the money. Using historical market data, Javier Estrada, a professor of finance, conducted a test to see how successful this method was. Many people were taken aback by the fact that this straightforward method outperformed a significant amount of the advice that experts provide regarding retirement investment. Estrada, on the other hand, introduced a new twist to this method in order to make the most of the safeguards that bonds were able to provide in an investing portfolio. Everyone is unable to accurately forecast when the market will crash. All we know is that it will occur at some point in the future. Consequently, it is imperative that we have a plan in place, particularly if we are currently debt-free and rely only on our investments for our livelihood. When someone reaches retirement age and begins taking money out of their investment portfolio, Estrada advises them to maintain a close check on the market and evaluate its performance. The equity side is the one that is giving the biggest profits, so if the market is performing well, you should take the money from that side. Although bonds have a tendency to increase in value during bear markets, you should remove your money from the bond side of the market if the market is not doing well and is losing money. Instead of selling the stocks when they're falling in value, this will give the stocks time to rebound in value. Number 4. Cash flowing businesses. Many businesses generate a significant amount of revenue, yet are not listed on the New York Stock Exchange. These can be actual businesses such as a restaurant, a coffee shop, a franchise, or a chain of automated teller machines. They can also be found on the internet, such as an application or a software company. The objective here is to acquire ownership of the company without actually running it. It takes a highly specific combination of abilities to successfully run a business, and not everyone is capable of running a firm. But there are a lot of people out there who own businesses, and rather than operating them themselves, they hire people to manage them for them in exchange for a nice income or equity in the firm. This is a common practice. Compared to other types of investments, this particular asset category is typically associated with a higher level of difficulty. This could involve beginning a firm from scratch and working hard until it is able to function on its own, or it could mean locating businesses that are looking for investors or partners. You also have the option of purchasing a firm or a franchise that's already operational. Despite the fact that this asset has a higher level of difficulty, it has the potential to deliver a great deal of benefits, such as control over cash flow. When you own the company, you have the ability to decide how much of the income from the company you can take home with you. You also have various tax advantages as a business owner, such as the ability to take advantage of the dividend distribution tax, which is often lower than the standard income tax. If you own a business, you are allowed to spend some of the money from the business before having to pay taxes on it, provided that the spending is beneficial to the business. For example, if you run a business that has multiple stores, You could utilize the money from the business to purchase a good car and then use that car to travel to all of your stores. Considering that it is a commercial vehicle, you are able to purchase or lease it using money that has not yet been taxed. It goes without saying that you should always seek the opinion of a professional in order to determine what you can and cannot do with the money you have before taxes. Number 5. Startups and growth companies. Approximately how many of you have ever pondered the question, what if I had invested in Amazon 20 years ago? If I had money right now, how much would I have? What would happen if I arrived early while using Uber or Netflix? We cannot go back in time and invest in those large companies, but the good news is that new companies are being established all the time that have the potential to grow to be just as large. These kinds of investments have the potential to bring in a significant amount of money, but they also carry a significant amount of risk. When it comes to these companies, investors typically only put a tiny amount of their portfolio into these investments. This is because they are aware of the fact that it is very probable that these investments will be zero. They could, on the other hand, experience a meteoric rise in wealth and achieve entirely new levels of financial success if they make investments in the appropriate company. If you want to make the finest investment possible, you should put your money into your own education. All of them are smart investments. Real estate can be a lucrative investment for individuals who have a high level of education, but for those who do not have a high level of education, it can be a disaster. However, if we do not have a solid understanding of finance, we run the risk of missing out on some fantastic possibilities. Stock investment is an excellent method to generate wealth over the long term. Making an investment in our own education is the cornerstone of making investments and constructing the life that we imagine for ourselves. I am grateful that you watched it. This video deserves a thumbs up from you if you enjoyed watching it. The comments section below is where you should share your thoughts with me. Hit the subscribe button and make sure that turn on notifications so that you can see all of my upcoming videos. I'll see you the next time.